Hello folks, this is Sula speaking. You're listening to another video for Teamfight Tactics. This is taken from an early ranked game. I think this was just after my placement matches finished, so I was technically in bronze elo, although again I had not played a whole lot of games up to this point in time. In this video we're going to be looking at a Star Guardians team composition, and we're going to be specifically featuring Taliyah, who is kind of the main carry of a Star Guardians team composition. Could probably re-roll for other units if you really wanted to. Yuumi, who is a Star Guardian, is quite popular in this particular patch. People have been re-rolling for Yuumi along with all the other Supers units. But Taliyah is a 4-cost unit, and she's kind of the intended main carry if you're going to be playing Star Guardians. And I've been looking for a chance to get a good Star Guardians video for some time now. And I tried to play Star Guardians a number of different times, and I hadn't really gotten a game that I was happy with. I had like some games that went okay, but like kind of weren't great. And this is one where I was able to put all the pieces together and have it work out for me. Now, that did also involve high rolling to some degree. Definitely got lucky in this game, as you will see, but still, it's nice to have a game where things go right, and the gameplay just kind of flows very smoothly from one part of the gameplay to the next. All right, well, we're starting out here on the minion stages. There were no defensive items on the initial carousel. I like to take the defensive items, but they weren't there. So I went ahead and grabbed a tier because I do like getting tiers. They're a very high priority right now. We're in a meta where the spellcasting AP champs are very dominant in comparison to AD. It's not that you can't play AD, it's just that AP is seen as being the stronger option at the moment. Then I had an Alistar pop out of the first minion round, so I immediately was like, I'm going to hold onto this Alistar. That is a very useful frontline unit. I could play into more mascot units, as I have right now. Been grabbing some mascot units. I could also look to play into... I've also got the Lee Sin and the Blitzcranks there. Blitz because I just have 2 out of 3. The Lee Sin because I might want to play into Heart Trait. And look what I get here. I get another nice spellcasting item. I get a glove. So I have half of a blue buff or a Spear of Shojin, and in addition to that, I also have a Jeweled Gauntlet. Then I also get an augment that is going to be perfect for me. I'm going to get the Spell Slinger augment, +1 Spell Slingers, and it also gives me an Annie, which is really, really nice. That is what I'm looking for. So now I know what my front line is going to be. It's going to be Annie plus Alistar for frontline as my main frontline units, and then I'm going to need to try and come up with more units behind that. But I'm going to go ahead and put the Spellslinger emblem on Alistar. I know immediately Alistar is going to stay in my comp for basically the whole game. I'm going to play Annie plus Alistar, and then I will just need to try to fill out more Spellslingers around them. Because I have +1 Spellslinger, this makes it very easy to run 6 Spellslingers, and then I'll play into Star Guardians after that. I have 2 out of 3 Luxes. Lux can go ahead and hold the items that will go on Taliyah later. Lux is a very good item holder for Taliyah because they have exactly the same traits and their abilities function similarly. Taliyah's cost more mana than Lux. You can put a blue buff on Lux. You don't really want to put a blue buff on Taliyah, but still, Lux is a good item holder for future Taliyah after that. Look at that. This fight is close, but then Lux gets a crit on her Jeweled Gauntlet, and that does enough damage that I'm able to punch through and win that round, even though I have all 1-star champions. So that's a nice sign for me there. All right, this round is going to miss me in terms of the stuff that's available in the shop, so let's talk a bit about these traits. Mascot trait, I've talked about a lot in past videos. Mascot traits, these are mostly frontline units. They regenerate part of their max HP every 2 seconds, and the benefits doubled for the mascot units. Ox-Force is kind of a tanky trait, but also one that grants additional attack speed. Annie and Alistar both have this trait. They start out with a certain amount of bonus attack speed, and then as they lose health, they gain additional attack speed. But the big thing people have been focusing on in this set is that Ox-Force grants 1 second of invulnerability when the units hit 0 HP. So they basically get like a little death defy there, and they have the opportunity to heal back up after that. But when they hit 0 HP, they are invincible. Watch the enemy Annie in this fight because she... Oh, wait, no, she doesn't have Ox-Force trait in. She does not have that. I have it in, but she does not have it. So their Annie just dies instantly. But if either my Annie or the Alistar get low, you will see that they are temporarily invulnerable. But, of course, neither of them ended up dying at all, so it wasn't even an issue in that match. All right, anyway, and then so the main traits that we're playing through in this game are going to be Spell Slinger And in addition to that, Star Guardian. These are, in fact, both of the traits that are on Lux. They are also both of the traits on Taliyah. So, as I said, those two champions share the same traits. Both are Spell Slingers, both are Star Guardians. So we don't have Star Guardians in yet, so let's look at the Spellslinger trait for the moment. Spellslinger trait, the main thing it does is it grants additional ability power. It just grants flat AP. Spellslinger 2 grants 25 AP. Spellslinger 4 grants 60 AP. The other thing that it does is every 5 seconds, the next auto attack from Spellslinger units instead fires a magic orb at a random target, which explodes for 50% ability power as magic damage. So you will see every 5 seconds the Spellslinger units, which right now are every unit except the Galio. Everything else is a Spellslinger. You'll see that they're tossing out these little orbs that deal additional damage to them. And the damage is actually pretty significant, especially in the early stages of the game. It doesn't scale up quite as well in the late game, but in the early game, it's significant. And that's the main reason why we win that fight. We narrowly win that battle, which I was not expecting to win, again, because I have all 1-star units. But my board is well built for this point in time in the game. And I do have a whole bunch of pairs, so if I can hit, a couple more units here, and I can actually hit my 2 stars, I should be in a really, really good position. All right, I'm going to be last pick on this carousel because I won all 3 of the rounds. That's not surprising. Have some good options here. I could take a sword to make Spear of Shojin. Could also take a frontline item here. I would not mind a belt, so I can start working towards some frontline stuff. So the belt gets taken, and overtaking a cloak or a vest, I decide that I will take the sword because this makes a very useful item in Spear of Shojin for Lux. Now, the most important thing for me to get in is another Spellslinger, and another high roll moment in this game. I find a LeBlanc in my store. Now, again, hardly ridiculous. I was level 5, although actually no, I think I leveled after the round started, so I think I had 15% odds to find the 3-cost units there because I was only level 4. But I was able to find the LeBlanc, and that's going to get me to 4 Spellslingers. So this is a very big deal because, as I mentioned, it's going to increase the ability power on all my Spellslinger champions. Spellslinger 2, only 25. Spellslinger 4, 60. That's a pretty big increase in terms of damage. The other nice thing it lets me do is, because I had not made Lux 2-star up to this point in time, I can just sell the Lux that's holding the Shojin and the Jeweled Gauntlet. I can just move those items over to LeBlanc. LeBlanc is going to be a much better holder of these items than Lux. Lux is an inconsistent unit. Now, if Lux had been 2-starred, I probably would not have done that, but because she was only 1-starred, LeBlanc being a 3-cost unit is a much more reliable user of Shojin plus Jeweled Gauntlet as opposed to Lux. Lux tosses out her pool, whether there's another Lux. So I could have had Lux 2-star, but I still think that was the right decision to swap that over. And now I'm going to grab the Vi, because Vi can give me Aegis trait for extra magic resistance, but I think it's better to play the Galio for right now. Yeah, I think it's better to play the Galio for mascot and civilian trait. Anyway, though, to get back to my point, yeah, LeBlanc's a 3-cost unit. Definitely better to play the 3-cost LeBlanc over looking to play the 1-cost Lux as my item holder. And I'll talk more about what LeBlanc's ability does in a minute. But Lux tosses out her pool. It's basically her E from normal League of Legends. However, it is very possible for her to toss it at an enemy and then just have them walk away while the Lux projectile is in midair. So sometimes she just throws her ult at nothing and it just does no damage. Whereas LeBlanc tosses out her sigils, and they will, in fact, always hit enemy targets. She does not throw the sigils at nothing. They will always go over and hit an enemy unit. Plus, she has that execute ability that I'll get to in a second. I'm also able to win that round, which is super important. I was able to end that person's win streak. They probably should have looked to go to level 5. It was honestly greedy of them not to go to level 5 there. And they pay for it with the fact that they had their win streak interrupted. And so my win streak continues, their win streak ends, which is a very big deal indeed, because that's going to keep feeding me all of that additional income. Anyway, since we have LeBlanc in here for the moment, I'll just read her ability description. LeBlanc's ability is Sigil of Malice. LeBlanc fires sigils at her target, each dealing magic damage. If the target dies, she completes casting the remaining sigils at the nearest enemy, but adds 1 more sigil. So if she kills an enemy, she tosses out an additional sigil. Probably the most I've said that word sigil in a long time. But yeah, so she is definitely a better user of this than Lux would be. Now, I don't get much in the way of items there. I do get quite a bit of gold. And that's not the worst thing because I'm on this full win streak. I actually have quite a bit of money. And now I would like to get another unit on my board, so it's going to depend on what we hit here. And oh, There's a good shot. We hit 2-star Annie, and we hit a 2-star Nasus. Now, I was probably going to look to play the Vi. Oh, yeah, I see. I had gone ahead and put in the Yuumi over the Galio there, and over the Nasus there. But since I've hit 2-star Nasus, we'll take the Yuumi out for right now. We'll put the Nasus in. I don't need Galio anymore. I'm happy to sell that. So I've put in the Vi so that I have the Aegis trait in. I still have the 4 Spellslinger, still have 2 Mascot, still have 2 Oxforce. This is me playing around what units I have hit. And of course, I'm going to level 6 early because I want to try to maintain my win streak. Very important to keep this going as long as possible. I am going to be following what I always think of as the JDPL Grillo strategy because I've seen him use this to such good effect so often in many different games. And that's just playing like a very aggressive, very high-tempo strategy, leveling aggressively, trying to push to higher levels to maintain a win streak, trying to bully people in the lobby by making them take as much damage as quickly as possible so that they run out of health before they can manage to put their team comps together. We'll come back to this point in a minute, but we've got an augment upcoming here, so let's see what I get for my second augment. So this one's going to roll as a champion augment. There is the possibility to take Yuumi, but Yuumi's not that important on my board. I decided I'm going to take the Annie one instead. Gain an Annie, well, Annie's, well, I didn't get a chance to read that fast enough. Let me go ahead and read Annie's augment. I'm just going to pull it off the cheat sheet here. All right, this is the carry Annie augment. Yeah, the carry version of Annie's. Gain an Annie while her ability shield is active. Enemies that attack her take 185 magic damage. So it's kind of like getting a Bramble Vest type thing. Enemies that hit her take magic damage. So I'm going to make Annie my main tank. There's an outside chance that I could 3-star her in this game. I'm not really expecting to hit 3-star Annie, which would require finding, I guess, 5 more. But you never know. Maybe I'll just get a run on a bunch of Annies. It could happen. So I'll go ahead and hold that extra unit. And I'm going to try to make her my primary tank in this game so that, again, as enemy units clump up on her and take damage from her, as they hit her, they will deal more damage back to themselves. Again, with the goal of trying to buy time for my casters in the backlines to deal more damage. All right, this person is also playing Star Guardians. The good news for me is they have a billion items sitting on the bench that they're not using. That is way too many items not to be using. They have 2 tiers and 2 rods and then a belt sitting there in the back not being used, as opposed to me who has used all of my components. I honestly think I lose that round if they just make use of their item components. So yeah, not something that they should be doing there. Anyway, again, I'm going to continue just trying to grab units, trying to push levels aggressively. I definitely have had luck in this game. You know, I've hit the 2-star Annie. I have, a 2-star Nasus. I have a very good augment in the +1 Spellslinger, and then I was able to get a champion augment that matches my board in the form of Annie. But I still do have an awful lot of 1-stars, and I haven't re-rolled it all this game. So I'm definitely doing a good job of making use of what I have gotten so far, trying to play best board, as people would say. And in another form of that, I've just picked up this Riven. Riven can be the next unit in on level up because I'm probably going to look to go to level 7 after this round is over. Now, I'm hoping that I'll win this round so I can keep my win streak going. Unfortunately, that Malphite with the Everfrost, or whatever that item's called, is buying a lot of time for the enemy team. So we just need to finish off this Lee Sin so that we can get on to the Yuumi. Lux, unfortunately, tosses her ult at the Yuumi, which does absolutely nothing. And I was like, we're going to come up short here, aren't we? So we're going to get the Lee, but Yuumi is going to finish off the LeBlanc. So, win streak over. At least I'm still over 50 gold, though. So that's a bit unfortunate, but I just could not get through the enemy team front line fast enough in that match. Now, the item I was most looking for here was the cloak that's on Rammus. I would very much like to get a Dragon's Claw and put it on Annie, if at all possible. The main reason for that is because AP is so dominant right now, most of the other teams are running magic damage, so it would be a really good idea to just get the heavy MR item. Cloak plus Cloak gives you, I think, like 80 MR or 100 MR or something like that. And then the passive that causes you to regen more health as more enemy units target you. But I don't get that, so I have to make the best of what is available. I'm going to grab this Gargoyle Stoneplate, and then I'm going to toss in the Ribbon, who gives me Brawler trait by going to level 7. So again, we're like I said, following the very aggressive plan, pushing tempo, pushing to level as quickly as possible. The goal being to get to higher levels, play more units, deal damage to the other players, punish them for playing weak boards, punish people who are trying to econ. I think that there's someone playing underground in this lobby, and I think there's a whole bunch of people that are going to trying to reroll for like various 3 stars, I think. Like there's a couple different people that are going for the Yuumi mascot reroll. I think this person is playing like a Yuumi plus threat board, which is something I've seen a little bit here and there. But like there's a number of different people who are just trying to kind of slow push this, like stay at level 6 with 50 gold, slow roll for additional units, blah, blah, blah. My goal is don't let them do that. Do not give them time to scale up their teams. Just push tempo, put in more units, level aggressively, deal damage. This person's on 31 HP, for example. I don't want to give this person time to hit 3-star units. I want to get them out of the lobby ASAP while also getting up to level 8 as soon as possible. At level 8, I'll try to roll and see if I can find Taliyah, and then we'll go from there. So anyway, I have found a Sona. Sona's another spell slinger. She is definitely better than Lux in there right now. Since I don't have Star Guardian trait in, there's no reason to play Lux over Sona. If I can hit 2-star Lux, I'll put her back in. But I already know kind of what my board is going to be. It's going to be 6 spell slingers, and then it's going to be 5 Star Guardians, and that is what I'm working towards right here. This is a board that normally you wouldn't necessarily be able to play, but because I have the +1 spell slinger, it makes it much easier to get the 6 spell slingers in. I already have 5 of them. I just need to find the Taliyah now. Or I guess technically I could also find Janna, who's the last spell slinger, but it is far more likely I'm going to find the Taliyah than it is to find the Janna, just because Janna is a 5 cost, Taliyah is only a 4 cost. All right, on this board, you saw there was an enemy that actually did have a Dragon's Claw, and you saw how much time that unit tanked for. I think that was on, what was that? I can't remember which unit it was on, but that unit did tank for a very, very long time. And then, oh, look at this. Just hit Vi 2-star. It's like, okay, Vi is not a unit I plan to be in my team long term. I do plan to take this unit out sooner or later. Vi is going to become Echo because Echo is a Star Guardian. Vi is not. Echo is also a higher cost unit. But hey, I will certainly play this Vi for the time being. Definitely makes my board stronger. Now I have 3 different 2-star frontliners. Actually 4 if you count the Nasus, who's like a pseudo frontliner. I guess he kind of is a frontliner. So yeah, we've got quite a bit going there. All right, out of this, I'm going to get some items that aren't quite what I'm looking for, but I'm going to hit the early Taliyah. That is what I'm looking for. So we're definitely going to put in the Taliyah, and we're going to move our carry items over to her. Now I want to get up to 6 spell slingers. So in order to do that, I have to take some units out. So I'm going to take out the Riven. Not going to play that. I'm going to drop the Nasus. This loses mascot trait, but there we go. 6 spell slingers. Now we don't have Star Guardian in. I do want to get Star Guardian in, so we want to get to level 8, and at level 8 we'll play the Yuumi. Yuumi will give us Star Guardian and also give us mascot trait back again. Now in terms of the items, like I said, I did not get quite what I was looking for there. I was looking for either more items that can go on Taliyah or more items that can go on a frontline unit. So I'm going to hold the sword. I would not mind getting a Giant Slayer. Giant Slayer actually would pair really nicely with the Spear of Shojin that I've already made. So I'm going to hold the sword, and then the other 2 items make a Shroud of Stillness. I am a big fan of Shroud of Stillness, as people who may have watched these videos over the years may have noticed. I think it's a good item to make, even relatively early in the game, as long as you are paying attention to what other people are playing. So I'm going to do my best to get good value out of this Shroud of Stillness in all of these fights. And now for the last one here, I was like, it's definitely not Knife's Edge, not with the spellcasting comp. The second win is a potential one, but I figured, no, let's take Celestial Blessing. I have no healing in my comp. Let's just go ahead and take the Celestial Blessing. And now, again, the tempo play, I'm going to early level to level 8. I'm not going to roll here just yet. I'm going to try to get up to 50 gold, but I am going to level here and put in the Yuumi because it does make me much stronger. It gives me Star Guardian trait, and then it also gives me the mascot trait back in again from dropping Nasus. So like I said, pushing tempo, very aggressively looking to level as fast as possible. This gets me improved shop odds, so I'm more likely to find the early game units. I know there's some couple other people playing Star Guardians, but I'm the only one who's level 8. The other players are only level 7, so I'm hoping I can hit Taliyah and maybe Syndra before other people have a chance to get access to these units just by virtue of being a higher level than them. This is one round where I do not get an especially great Shroud of Stillness, but still managed to hit 2 or 3 units, so not exactly terrible. As long as we can pop the Zed, we should be fine. And even though Zed's stacking up a lot of drones, all right, we're able to get the Zed, and that's going to do it. Again, 15 damage. Look at how much pressure I'm putting on this lobby. 15 damage. That's a lot of health coming out of the lobby at a very fast date. Unfortunately, I am off and win streaking still. All right, while we have a minute here, let's go ahead and cover the Star Guardian trait itself, shall we? Now that I have Star Guardian trait in. This is back from set 3, which was one of my least favorite sets of Teamfight Tactics. Star Guardians back in that set functioned a little bit differently, but the basic idea is still the same. It is a mana-generating trait. Here in set 8, Star Guardians, the description is very short. It says gain more mana from all sources. Star Guardian 3 is 40% additional mana, Star Guardian 5, 70% additional mana, etc., etc. So Star Guardian 3 is going to give additional mana generation. This does work with mana from all sources. It's not only auto attack based. It does apply to units that are getting hit, so that is not really any of my current Star Guardians because they're all backline units, but it applies when taking damage because you gain mana when you get hit in this game. It also applies to items like Spear of Shojin. So Spear of Shojin generates 20 additional mana on every third auto attack. So that'll get increased by, what, the 40%? What is it, 40%? I know I just read this, but I've already forgotten what it is. Yeah, 40% additional mana. So instead of generating 20 mana, it'll generate, what, 28 mana instead on every third auto attack. So not bad, definitely. If you can get Star Guardian up to higher ranks, it's especially nice. For Taliyah, you can build Taliyah in a whole bunch of different ways across these games. My general feeling has been that if you can, it's better to get higher tiers of Spellslinger because it just gives her additional ability power. And that's a little bit better than Star Guardian, but, you know, high ranks of Star Guardian are not bad by any means either. Well, anyway, there wasn't a whole bunch I wanted there, so I'm going to go ahead and just take this vest as another frontline item. I'm going to roll this down. I have now found the Echo, so I was like, do I replace the Vi with the Echo? It is a 2-star Vi. There's another Taliyah. There's a 2-star Lux, and then, oh, wow, okay. That was fast. That was very easy to hit the 2-star Taliyah. So again, like I said, definitely a high roll game, but I hit the 2-star Taliyah incredibly smoothly on my roll down here. And now I have my main carry unit ready to go. And so now we'll just look to go level 9. Obviously, I rolled down to 20 gold, but I do think that it helped that I was hitting these levels so early. I just had better shop odds to find my key units before anybody else had a chance to find them, other people who might be playing. Now, Taliyah does throw her ultimate at absolutely nothing, but that is one of the risks of running Taliyah, but fortunately, she's on top of it, and we're going to knock this person out. Yeah, it's stage 4 or 5. They're out of the lobby. I actually thought that person had one of the stronger boards, but again, this is one of the advantages of playing tempo, of pressuring people in the lobby, trying to get them out as quickly as possible before their boards can scale up. And so that's what I've been trying to do. Now, there's 2 other people playing Star Guardians, but again, I kind of got the Taliyahs before they had a chance to grab them. One of these people is still, I think they're both still level 7, and I think some of them have been re-rolling for 3 stars. That person, February, has like a ton of Star Guardians on their bench. Anyway, I'm going to position for them. They're the win-streaking board, so presumably they are the strongest. Unfortunately, this means that my Shroud gets pointed at absolutely nothing, but this other person's board does not look that strong. They've taken Jeweled Lotus Augment, but then they've also made an Infinity Edge and a Jeweled Gauntlet. Like, you don't need to make those items if you have Jeweled Lotus. One of them is fine, but, like, that's a tremendous amount of crit stuff. There's no mana generation on that unit, so, yeah. That Taliyah was going to hit very hard when it actually cast, but it had no mana generation, so it was going to take forever to get its casts off, and my Taliyah is able to pop it pretty quickly thanks to having the Spear of Shojin. So a strangely built version of that unit. Obviously, it also helped that I was a 2-star and they only had a 1-star. So that's a kind of a close fight, but I am able to win that one despite having the Shroud of Stillness very poorly placed in that fight. Okay, now that we have a minion round, let's take a second to cover Taliyah's ability and how it works. Go ahead and read the official trait description, which is Weaver's Wall. So it is our ultimate from normal League of Legends. Costs 90 mana, at least in this patch. Taliyah summons a torrent of spiraling rocks in a line of enemy units, dealing magic damage to all enemies it hits. After a brief delay, the wall explodes, dealing additional magic damage to nearby enemies. So it's basically 2 things. First, it shoots out the wall and deals damage. Then the wall will explode about 1 second after it first goes off, and the damage is much, much higher. It's basically about triple the damage. Here at 2-star, the wall initially does 100 damage, and then the explosion does 300 damage, so just flat triple. And if you can get Taliyah up to 3-star, then the wall does 900 damage when it explodes, but that's probably not going to happen. The numbers there are a bit deceptive. You might look at that and be like, wait, 300 damage? That doesn't really sound that good. But the reason why it doesn't sound that good is, remember, she's a spell slinger. She's got I'm getting 100 additional ability power from her ability. Excuse me, not from her abilities. Getting 100 additional ability power from the Spellslinger trait. Plus, we've got the Jeweled Gauntlet, so her spell's going to crit, or at least has the possibility of critting. I don't know if it crits every single time. And then we also have the Giant Slayer, so we're going to do additional damage to high health targets. And the Giant Slayer's attack speed also synergizes really nice with the Spirit of Shojin. So these are generally considered to be Taliyah's best items, or something very close to this. I would say Spirit of Shojin plus Jeweled Gauntlet are her core items, and then that third item can be kind of whatever fits. I've seen people build Archangel Staff in that slot. I've seen people build, just like a Death Cap for more AP. And pretty much anything AP focused or attack speed focused is pretty good. You could even do like a Static Shiv if you really had to. Like, that wouldn't be terrible, even though it wouldn't be ideal. So, like I said, the Spirit of Shojin, Jeweled Gauntlet, kind of the way you want to go. And then the last item slot's a little bit more flexible. But I'm very happy with what I got here. The fact that I was able to use that last minion round to get a bow for the Giant Slayer. It's going to be really good against the 3 stars in this lobby. Because, like, there's a bunch of people with 3-star units. And so the Giant Slayer is really, really good against them, which is part of why I was hoping to be able to build it. Anyway, I am still positioning for that person February. It's causing me to miss a lot of these shrouds, but that is the win streaking player, so I want to try and position my shroud to hit whoever I perceive as the strongest in the lobby. Taliyah's targeting is a little bit like Lux's, and oh my god, her crit there just completely wiped out most of the enemy team. So she will try to hit as many enemy units as possible, but she is a little random in terms of where she chooses to throw that ult. She typically will try to hit the biggest cluster of enemy units, and like in that fight she did 10,000 damage with some humongous crits on her ability. But sometimes she will throw her ult, and then the enemy units will just walk away as they switch targets, and then she hits basically nothing. So that is kind of the biggest risk of running this unit, and it's why she is a little bit imprecise in terms of being a carry. That said, she has fantastic area of effect damage. As you see, she is definitely not single target. Sometimes she can hit, I don't know, like 3, 4, 5, 6 units on the enemy team. If she does get a great line with her wall, and she manages to hit like 5 members of the enemy team and gets a crit, like you saw there, she can just burst right through the enemy team in no time flat. So, like Lux, who again shares the same traits as her, Spellslinger plus Star Guardian, she can be a bit inconsistent, but, when she hits, she really hits. And now I finally hit this person, February, who I've been positioning for. I noticed that they swapped over to the other right-hand side. My Shroud of Stillness is absolutely perfect. I just need Taliyah to focus the backlines here. Come on, Taliyah, get your wall off. And there we go. Going to get that perfect diagonal boom. It just blows up the entire backline. One of the other nice things about Taliyah, she does have backline access. This is a set where backline access is a little bit limited. It's been more front-to-back team fights overall in this set because there are no assassins and there's just the hacker trait to send units to the backline. So units that have backline access, very valuable. Even though Taliyah is somewhat less consistent than, say, Soraka with her ability, the fact that she can hit the backline is quite nice indeed. Well, anyway, we're up to Stage 5 Carousel, and look at those health bars over there. I have lost 1 round the entire game. I am on 95 health. Everyone else is 21 health or less. So this is a lobby that is constricting very quickly. It looks like some people... We've been on 7 players for a while now because I knocked out that other player, and it looks like a lot of players have been losing the ghost rounds. So I'm going to continue putting pressure on the lobby. I'm going to go to level 9, and now I'm looking for 1 more Star Guardian. Ideally, that would be Syndra, and boom, there she is. The advantage of being level 9, 16% odds for those legendaries. I'm also going to find another Echo, and there's another Taliyah. Now I want to try to get some units for Syndra to throw in. Syndra's going to be able to toss in units onto the battlefield, so I would love to get some real big, strong, tanky units for her to throw in. I think Annie is already correctly positioned with her Shroud. Let's see, and oh, it's a perfect Shroud again. This is the person who we saw before, who has, now they've managed to get a 2-star Taliyah, but again, no mana generation on this unit, and their front line looks a little bit suspect, so my Taliyah is going to get her cast off, going to drop their Taliyah down to almost no HP, and we just burst right through the front line. It is not even remotely close, and we're actually going to knock them out of the lobby. I felt a little bit sorry knocking them out of the lobby, but clearly they were having some trouble in this game, and they definitely did not want to hit me on that particular round, but they're going to go out of the lobby, and it turns out 2 other people go out of the lobby as well. I was like, wait, what? We're already down to just 4 players? What is going on here? So I will keep rolling. I'm trying to see if I can hit the Syndra 2-star. Would definitely be nice here. And oh, there it is. Okay. So I was like, all right, I'll just ditch the Sejuani. I was trying to put Sedge on my bench so that she could be thrown in potentially by Syndra. If you are unfamiliar with Syndra, her ability is basically Thresh from set 3. She grabs units on the bench and tosses them into combat. And that can be quite powerful, particularly in a Star Guardians comp. I would really love to get her a mana-generating item as well, so that she'll be tossing units in off the bench. Another beautiful Shroud of Stone. So I love how much I was able to do with the Shroud in this particular game. I don't think it's a bad item to make at all in these fights. Like, this person's board, not weak at all. They have a 2-star Urgot in the back lines there, but as long as Taliyah is alive and safe, she should be able to avoid getting killed. Remember, I do have Celestial Blessing, so she is healing off some of the damage still. And yeah, I'm actually going to knock that player out as well. I'm just like claiming scalps left and right in this game. I'm just taking people down again and again and again. And so we just have 2 players left in the lobby on 13 and 4 HP. So at most, this game is only going to go 2 more rounds unless somebody can beat me, which I'm not sure that these people are going to be able to do. I've just been win streaking so hard. The only thing I was kind of missing in this comp was a heal cut. I didn't have anything to cut the healing of mascot units, which are very prevalent in this particular patch. And I was able to get that off the last carousel. I was able to take a Sunfire Cape and put it on Alistar. So, again, feeling pretty good here. My top item would probably be a Spear of Shojin for Syndra, so that she will throw in enemy units more quickly. Does not look like I'm going to get the Annie 3-star anytime soon, but Annie has still been fantastic for me regardless. Okay, now I could my first thought was the Chalice, but then I was like, wait a minute. No, Chalice... What is Chalice going to do? 20 ability power? I'm getting 100 from Spellslinger. No, I don't need Chalice. What I need is more frontline. Because as long as my frontline holds up, I'm going to win the fight. So that's what I'm looking to grab here. We're going to hit the 2-star Sona. We're also going to hit a 2-star Urgot. So I was like, okay, we'll drop the Annies. Let's go ahead and put in that. And I actually am going to sell the Taliyah, because I'm not going to hit Taliyah 3-star. I'm hoping that Syndra will grab the 2-star Urgot and throw it in off my bench. It is completely random what she chooses to throw, so let's get our Shroud positioned. We did manage to hit 2-star Sona as well there. So my entire board is 2-starred, which is just what I'm looking for. All right, we get a great Shroud. We managed to hit the Zed on the enemy team. The only other threat there is the Mordekaiser, and let's see, we just picked up and threw a Janna on the board. Okay, not the unit I wanted. Generally, you want Syndra to be throwing in tanks. Can she throw in the 2-star Urgot? Is she going to be able to get that? Actually, no. Looks like we just win before she even throws in another unit. And my Ghost is apparently hitting the other player. And, oh, well, that was fast. I guess that's it. So I just win the lobby with 95 HP. I guess that's that. What a steamroller of a game here. I don't think my board was, like, absolutely amazing. I didn't have any 3-star units. It was just kind of like a very solid game from start to finish. I put pressure on the lobby, and the rest of the field just couldn't keep up. Like, they just really couldn't match the pressure that I was putting out. So we kept hitting people for 15 damage, 16 damage, 18 damage at the end of the game, and just drained all the health from the lobby, and it was just over on 6-1. So a very, very fast game, but hopefully a good example of what a Taliyah comp looks like when everything goes right. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed this. Till next time, take care, folks.